Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, and joining me today, still our very good friend Steve Hatherley.
I'm back. Thank you.
In the previous episode, we talked about the China Impression campaign. We shared a lot of fun Chinese expressions that you can use to describe the country, and also took a look into the China impression in the eyes of AI, artificial intelligence. It was a fun journey, and make sure you listen back to the previous episode. Now, let's take a look at some of the replies that we have already collected from our followers online, sharing what they're... Well, actually, we've got different themes. We've got the favorite Chinese dish, something very important to everybody. Chinese people say 民以食为天. People view food as a necessity, as one of the priorities. I'm pretty sure Steve agrees with that.
I certainly do. I'm living that expression right now.
Yes. So, and then we have the experience of people using transportation, public transportation here in China. And the other one is their stories of making Chinese friends. I think these are lovely themes. So let's start with the food one. Actually, when it comes to food, one lovely comment we received was from Russ Savage, and he said, 兰州拉面, a Chinese classic and available everywhere. Very good price and always clean restaurants. Have you ever tried the 兰州拉面?
I've actually had that on numerous occasions so far, and that ramen, you have to be careful when you are ordering it because there are varying degrees of spiciness with it. I've had it where it's, that first sip is always the sip where you feel, it's the test. You go like, okay, my face isn't melting off just yet. But I've also had it where it hits your tongue and your face lights on fire. But overall, really, really delicious. And you can find this, this is almost everywhere, I think. This is one of the first dishes that I tried after arriving in Beijing.
Yeah, this is actually also a very common, like you said, it's everywhere. It's a very common staple food for Chinese people, especially for those living in the northern part of the country. And there are different types. Like you said, you can find the kind of la mian in different, there are very thin ones. There are also relatively thicker ones. And mostly when it comes to la mian, I think we're talking about the kind of dish with soap in it, and yes, different level of spice.
Yeah, the noodles, they vary in thickness as well, right? But this ramen you mentioned, more commonly eaten in the northern part of the country?
Relatively speaking, yes.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
And the thing is, for example, for me, myself, I get drunk with food quite so much. If I'm having that huge and delicious bowl of la mian right there, I will pass out for the entire afternoon.
When do you eat? Do you eat? Oh, okay. So you have it for lunch.
I have it for lunch mainly.
Okay. So this is not a nighttime snack for
It's not a nighttime snack for anybody. If it's a nighttime dish or main dish, it's fine. But but it's really, really delicious. I agree with you. I would think it's very good price and it's available everywhere.
1 to 10 level of spicy do you enjoy?
11.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Story. When I was in the consideration phase about moving to China, I came here and I visited with Honglin and a couple of other coworkers. We went out to eat. And do you remember this?
Yes.
And what was that spicy dish that I ordered? It. We went out to dinner, and I looked at the menu and I said, "Oh, I want to have this one." And you said to me, "You sure? That's going to be pretty hot."
Yes. 毛血旺.
And I said, "Come on, I can handle spicy, no problem." Dish came, one bite. I think my face went like this. Second bite. And you said to me, I thought you could handle the spiciness.
I was not very nice.
I am not going to fight with you anymore. I bow down, I lose. You are the definite winner for that competition. Yeah, you enjoy it.
Spicy food. When we talk about Chinese food, Actually, there are really different types of food we're talking about. Chinese food is a huge umbrella word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for example, our next comment is talking about something I'm pretty sure it's something quite common, but I'm not sure if you have tried it.
The comment is from Bibi Thong, and the comment says the best prawns fried dumplings and the best prawns wonton only in
Suzhou.
Suzhou.
Yes. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried these?
Of course.
Ah,
Of course
good.
I have. These are amazing. Actually, I say that I'm repeating that sentence so many times with each Chinese dish that I try over and over again. I'm constantly saying, oh, this is really good. Oh, that's really good too. Yeah. Now, with the dumplings is quite a broad umbrella term in China because you can have them filled with almost anything, I think, right? My favorite ones that I've had so far, I think, are the prawn and pork in the same dumpling together.
Actually, there are really different fillings. 猪肉, 羊肉, 三鲜. And nowadays, we talked about China being a country with a huge history, with a long history. Actually, food is with that same concept. It has a long history. 饺子, dumpling has a long history. But at the same time, now we're putting a lot of different new things into the dumpling to, try it out, test it.
Chefs are getting a little creative.
Yes, they're very creative, which is why if you go to a 饺子馆, 馆 is kind of like the venue or the place for the first keyword, 饺子. So the dumpling place, it's for example, restaurant focusing on dumplings. And for that kind of restaurant, actually you can order different fillings, different types.
Gosh, I could stay there all day. And it's so cheap too.
Yes,
right?
it is quite
affordable.
So cheap. Yes. And then we have Tino's comment saying sometimes the easiest things are the best. We had a lot of great dishes this summer in China, but the very best had been this 包子 from a small street restaurant in the west street of Yangzhou. 包子. 包子 is the steamed bun with filling in it. Yeah, you can understand it as a different type of dumpling as well. You have the wrap, you have the filling, 包子. But remember it as 包子.
包子, it feels like a little bit more of a meal to me than a typical dumpling does because the 包子 buns are about, about yay big, right? And the fillings inside is quite thick and the bread itself is quite thick. So
yeah, you're only talking about one type of 包子. We also have other types of 包子.
How many are there?
Several. For example, the wrap does not always have to be quite so thick. It can be just really this one skein of wrap. And it can be steamed, but it can also be fried a little bit. So there are, again, you come to China, you will be surprised.
I didn't know. I've only had the thick one so far. In fact, I didn't even know that there were variations on that, so I have more to try.
And for the 包子, the word itself, 包 meaning wrap, and 子 here is a character transforming the verb into a noun. So if you are wrapping, then the wrapped thing is a 包子.
Got it.
So quite easy.
All right, Toril, you're going to have to help me out with Toril's comment. What does Toril say?
Well, he or she said that 点心是最好的菜. 1992年我在中国第一次吃点心. Do you know dim sum?
Oh my gosh.
You're using that word really a lot.
I know, but it's true. My reactions are genuine. Dim sum, I think, is one of the foods, we talked about it, there's so many foods here in China that you'll probably never have, you could live your whole life and probably never have the opportunity to try all of them. But dim sum's one of the ones that people know internationally, right? Everybody knows about it. People eat this in other countries overseas. And again, variations on the fillings too, right? So chefs can get a little bit creative. And again, with dim sum, I love the pork and the shrimp filler, but my favorite is, do you know what I'm going to say? 小笼包.
See, that's a different types of 包子.
With the soup inside.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Do you know how they make that, by the way? How they get the soup inside the little...
I think when it's steamed, actually the filling would almost like, almost like melt a little bit.
Yeah, they make like a jelly out of it.
Yeah.
And then when they heat it, that jelly melts. My mind was blown when I saw the video on how they make that. I love that. That's my favorite one. I could eat that every day.
Ah, that is a very nice dish you can try. And the other comment actually goes to one of my favorite dish. That's talking about hot pot is the most delicious food that I have tasted.
Yeah, that comment is from Russell. Thank you, Russell, for the comment. And talking about foods that you can get everywhere. Hot pot you can get everywhere as well.
You can get everywhere. And actually we have Ben saying hot pot. All arguments after this post are invalid. Being very strong and aggressive. Hot pot.
Hot pot. Yeah, hot pot is another one of those dishes where you have to be careful about the level of the spice because you have the spicy and then you have the not spicy. Then you can kind of tell, I think, judging just by looking at how red the sauce is on one particular side. What I never tried outside of China, I've had hot pot outside of China before, and I just had the red spicy sauce on one side and then the white not spicy sauce on the other side. What I never tried before coming was the tomato sauce.
Oh, there are so many different.
There are even more?
There are even more.
See, those are the ones that I've tried so far, and I'm loving it. But yeah, really affordable as well.
Yes.
Here's my question with hot pot, though. The restaurants that I've seen around seem to be quite affordable. Lunchtime spots where office workers will eat, they want to eat quickly, right? But I wonder, is there like upscale versions of hot pot as well? Or is this...
Of course.
Yeah,
in China, you can find...
Upscale everything?
You can find upscale and also relatively lower scale of everything. So there are the very affordable type, but you can definitely find kind of expensive hot pot as long as you put in all the very expensive ingredient.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the key.
That's the key. And also there are, for example, hot pot for especially seafood. There can be hot pot for different types of mushrooms within the broth, and then the soup can be really, really tasty. In Chinese, we would say 鲜美. It's fresh. It's refreshing with the essence of the ingredient. You cannot really, spice, when I'm talking about the seasoning, can be really important. But if you are able to extract the essence of the ingredient, that is the best in Chinese cuisine culture, in my opinion.
My goodness, is this a food show or are we learning Chinese
let's
here?
Not make it a food show. Let's move on to transportation.
Okay.
Actually, when it comes to transportation, one interesting comment we got is from Conrad Raziki, Raziki, saying Shanghai subway was impeccable and they even had a phone charger station in the car.
Oh, that's convenient.
That is convenient.
Yeah, I've been on the Beijing subway plenty of times now. I wasn't looking for a charger, but
Look for one. Maybe you can find one.
Don't know if it's there or not. Yeah, that's not something that you'll typically find in a Canadian or American subway.
No.
I don't think a phone charger. I could be wrong. I haven't been on all of them, but yeah, that's an amazing little amenity that isn't often available. Thank you, Conrad, for the comment.
And then we finally got Ba Daling comment.
Yeah,
Would you like to do the Warner?
This is from Lasse Stenborg. Hi, Lasse. Me on the train from Badaling to Beijing many years. The challenge of learning Mandarin as well as the existence of various dialects is intriguing to many language enthusiasts.
Right. This is actually very, very interesting. And in the same time, when it comes to the Ba Daling story, actually, we have Lace saying, me on the train from Ba Daling to Beijing many years ago, a father tried to get a picture of his son together with the exotic man from Sweden. After long talking to the son, the father finally got his photo. My experience from travel in China is 100% positive and always perfect with flight, train, bus, or taxi. However, I never dare to drive my car myself.
Driving, I mean, it's easy to take the subway and the train, and driving is a whole different animal though, right? Because every city around the world has its own driving culture, and that can be a little bit harrowing for people who are new to it. I don't know, I'd be interested to try to drive in Beijing though. It doesn't, am I wrong? It doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look
It doesn't look that bad.
It's not as bad?
It's not that bad.
That's
It's
good
okay.
to know. I'm gonna give it a try someday.
Yes, you can give it a try. I think when it comes to experiences, we here say 衣食住行. That's like the clothing, the food, how you stay or where you stay, and how you go to different places, transportation. These are vital aspects of people's living here. I mean, for our great China impression campaign, we talk about your impression about the country, and we don't want to raise the bar too high for those who have only been, for example, staying here for longer than half a year or so. But for those of you who are visiting, actually transportation is already a part that you would neglect if the experience is ordinary, yet if it's extraordinary, it will definitely leave an impression in your heart.
Yeah, and I think the easier it is to get around for people when they're coming to a country for the first time, or even a second or third time, the easier it is to get around, the more it encourages people to come back and enjoy it again. And I mentioned before that I went down to Xi'an to see the Terracotta Warriors, and one of the reasons that I chose to do that trip is because of how easy it was to get there from Beijing. Using the high-speed trains in China when you don't speak Chinese sounds like it's going to be an impossible experience, doesn't it? It's not at all. Even the app was in English, so it was easy to book tickets. Once getting to the train station, it was easy to find which platform you were intended to go to, and it was a really lovely experience. The train itself, really clean, on time, exactly down to the 1 second on time, so you don't have to worry about it being late. That's the train, but the subway itself, clean, safe, again, efficient in terms of time. It's never late either, and there's plenty of them too. One of the cool things that stood out to me, and this is on line 1 in particular, and I'm not sure if the lines are different. Oh, by the way, if you want to have a little bit of a chuckle, go onto the internet and search Beijing subway map. And look at the size of that. That's what I mean by chuckle, because if you compare it to, I'm Canadian, remember, so if you compare it to other Canadian cities that have subway systems, it's huge, it's enormous. But my experience—
And it's expanding.
And
it's growing as well.
And it's getting bigger and bigger. But my experience being on the subway itself, all the things I said, it's stress-free, actually. And it's English friendly. If English is a language that you're comfortable with, if you don't speak Chinese, it's easy to get around.
But if you get to speak Chinese, you can also interact with people during your journey, and you can talk to people besides you. And if they figure you speak Chinese, they would be very happy to talk to you, and they will be giving you advice, and you can even make friends with these people. And that actually leads us to the next theme of our little China impression campaign, that is friendship. Because essentially, when we communicate with people from another country, when we go to another culture, go deep into another civilization, the most important thing is to have people-to-people exchange. I'm talking about real people, talking to someone who's actually already in the civilization, in the society for long enough, so they understand, or they have their first-hand experience, and be friends with them. This person will be a door open for you into the culture you're looking at.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, if you're going to come to any country around the world, well, what would be the point of just staying in your apartment the whole time and never talking to anyone? When you get out and you try the foods and you get on the public transportation
Talk to the stranger next to you.
Why not? And here's my experience of being in China for a relatively short time. Chinese people are very friendly. Beijing people are quite friendly, as a matter of fact, particularly to expats, I would say. But people will generally not come up and talk to you.
No.
Right?
We're very 内向, introvert in a way.
That's not a criticism at all, because that doesn't happen in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver or New York or Paris or anywhere. So it's not a criticism. But here's my point. People will generally not approach you. They won't pay any attention to you. Why would they? But if you do ask for help, ask for directions, or if you do happen to say something to someone,
If you look really lost.
Yeah, yeah, you will be helped for sure. People are really helpful and really friendly here.
And if you're lucky enough to spend a little time, a little longer time in the country and make some real friends, then beautiful stories will come up.
Yeah.
For example, actually, we've got a very fun story shared by Carla Canales, an internationally renowned opera singer. She has an unforgettable photo taken in Xiamen, East China's Fujian province, and she has a very lovely story behind that picture.
Hi, I'm Carla Canales, and I just wanted to tell you about this photo. This moment actually really meant a lot to me. I think the photo, it expresses the joy that we both felt in this moment. This was backstage right after the performance that took place in Xiamen. Maestra Zhen Xiaoying, who is 95 years old and founded and leads the Zhen Xiaoying Opera Center, of course, a very renowned conductor and educator in China. I was just so happy to be backstage with her afterward and enjoy the music that we had made together and the moment of deep friendship. So this photo really sort of, I think, encapsulates that moment, and her smile just means the world to me. A smiling conductor after a performance means everything to any performer, but to have someone who's kind of my hero give me such a big smile, it was a moment I'll never forget.
A lovely, lovely story, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Erwin Gerber. Erwin left us a message on Facebook from Germany, lived in China for many years, and found love here in China as well.
So this is the most emotional picture I have. Yeah, it was taken in Shashi on a very old Asian bridge. The sun comes down, and was the right moment in the right time. It was very nice. I think it was made in 2019. So we had no kids this time. So we was only by our own. So it was nice. I'm not sure that I was thinking anything. It was only I had a really deep moment with my wife. Very happy to be there.
And of course, if we talk about those who are not particularly already very keen to the Chinese culture and everything, who are a little bit intimidated even by the Chinese language, then I have something that you would definitely, well, besides food, find very, very interested in. That is the very, very beautiful sightseeing you get to see here in China. When we say China is a vast country, it's for sure. And you can find different types of beautiful scene, beautiful sights in different places. And we've received a lot of comments about the places they have visited.
Cool.
And they've even sent us the picture they took. They shared the kind of beautiful scenery with us. And I have to admit, I myself haven't even been to all of these places.
Sure.
The majority of these places, for example, Yangshuo, Changchongshan, Tagong Caoyuan, Tiankong Zhijing, Zhejiang Wuzhen. I know for those of you who don't understand Chinese, I'm only listing different places, but actually these are different places in China with different styles, with different types of beauty.
Yeah.
We have the very magnificent ones. We have the, relatively speaking, delicate but very precious, elegant ones. We have the kind of pictures that is all green if you take a look at it. The green picture showcases the lake, showcases the huge trees surrounding the lake. And also there are relatively artificial sites. You've got the modern scene. You've got, for example, beautiful lights decorating the nighttime city. So all of these can be found in China, and hopefully it's yours to explore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprising. The country is so big that you have so many different types of landscapes. You have rivers and streams and mountains, and I mean, just have a look online and you can see all of it's like you're going to different corners of the world when in fact you're still all in the same country.
Yes.
There's literally everything here. And talking about transportation before, how convenient it is to get around from place to place, high-speed train and what have you. Bus airplanes, of course, as well, but you don't have to do too much that's uncomfortable for you to get from location to location, and then one location will be very, very different looking from the one you just came from.
Yeah, so thinking about it, it's quite amazing country-wise. We have 75 years of history of development, of transformation, and we have to admit that for the last 10 years or so, we witnessed the fastest speed of development. If you take a look at your life 10 years ago, it's completely different from the ones today we are enjoying. We scan a QR code everywhere. We do not bring our wallet anywhere. We use facial recognition. We talk to chatbot online, and all these changes happen over the course of the past decade or so. And if we're talking about the past 75 years, of course, actually, in another show, we did a little comparison and also nostalgia, remembering, trying to collect and compare notes kind of thing, talking about the development we actually experienced.
The way it used to be versus the way it is now.
Yes, and it has been quite different. And actually, culture-wise, well, for the Chinese culture, it has been here for thousands of years, and we are very thankful for that thousands of years, because without the past, we cannot really have the present.
Yes, of course. You can't get to where you're going until you've figured out where you came from, and also appreciate that as well.
Yeah, so even though now it kinda is like a China impression, but I always call it my China impression because I feel like experience-wise, it's quite personalized.
Yeah.
Everyone would have their very unique and precious little story that they cherish for the rest of their life, for the entire of their life. But yes, for the China impression campaign now, well, we'll always be looking for comments, but this is kind of like a grand celebration of that campaign, of that online event, but we'll always keep on looking for more comments, more ideas, more stories that you would like to share with us.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed seeing or hearing those comments from the people who had been to China for either a short time or a long time, because I've only been here for a short time, so it's nice to hear other people's impressions as well.
Kind of like knowing what you're getting into a little bit.
A little bit, but you know, when you come to a place for the first time, of course, you have certain feelings or certain impressions of things. So you know, not everyone has the same opinion. So it was really cool to kind of see how other people see things as well. So a wonderful opportunity today.
Yes. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Helin with Steve Hatherley in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Takeaway Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and a 5-star rating. 感谢收听，我们下次再见，拜拜。